Hey everyone, my name's Rhonda from Soapery. So it's a beautiful morning today in Melbourne, Australia, and it is a Monday for us, so start of the week. So at the start of the week, I thought let's go and start our videos off. So some exciting news for us here at Soapery. We have been asked to do a collaboration of many videos with Sud Off in Australia. They are a beautiful soaping company. And they do lots of gorgeous micas. All my micas, if anyone watches me, knows they come from Sud Off. They do some gorgeous glittery micas, and they're all cosmetic grade, which is what I absolutely love. They do some molds, and they also have a brilliant Facebook group that gives great ideas. So a lot of these videos will be on the Facebook group in a small version, and then I'm going to be bringing you the long version on my YouTube channel. So for anyone that hasn't checked out Sud Off, make sure you do. Dawn over there is so lovely, and she'll be more than happy to help you. But from here, like I said, I'm going to be showing you some videos. So to start off, for anyone that doesn't know much about soaping, we're going to be starting off with a safety video on lye. I've said for some time I was going to do it, and I'm sorry, but I just have not had time. But at the moment, I think it's the perfect time for everybody, because I really want everyone to make soap, make some beautiful products, but please do it in a safe manner. Making soap does have some really dangerous elements to it. As we all know, it's sodium hydroxide is the main danger that we are using. It is safe as long as you use it in a safe way. So you don't need to be scared of it, but you do need to respect it and respect the process that goes with making beautiful soaps. So let's get started on the lye process, and I'll show you exactly my process and how I do it, and all the safety equipment that I think you need, and the safety equipment that I do use every time I make soap. So let's go. Hey everyone, I'm back again to talk about safety. So now we're going to be making some lye today. And what is lye? Well, people often ask me that. So lye is actually sodium hydroxide mixed with some distilled water. As you get more advanced in soaping, instead of using distilled water, you can use a mix of distilled water, aloe vera juice, you can add milks, coconut milks, oat milks, all different milks in it, and you can add lots of different things you know, to help your soap or to improve the bar. But for now, we're going to be starting on a basic recipe. So when you first start making soap, you'll be using the sodium hydroxide and a mixture of distilled water. So before we get into that, let's talk about the safety element. So here from my local shopping centre, I just have these particular gloves, which is this top box here, and the company's called Sabco. These are definitely the ones that I prefer to use. They're much better, they're not too big, they fit really firm on your hand, but you can still move really easily. So I definitely suggest these ones. These are more expensive than the no-name brand. The no-name brand are still good, they will still be fine and they will protect you, but they're just not as strong. So this is a no-name brand, and it's really stretchy like a balloon, and they're just clear, and you can see that the quality definitely is not the same as the blue quality. So, you know, when you put these on, they have kind of like a smooth surface, and they're really easy. And so all you need to do is simply like this, just pop your hand in and that's it. And then, you know, make sure that the gloves come up, and then you can wear a sleeve under that to protect you from sodium hydroxide. Because I know you might think, well, I'm going to be careful and it doesn't matter, but it does matter, because even the most experienced soap maker will 100% spill something on themselves. I do all the time. So yeah, 100% you must wear gloves, at least wear gloves. So that's the starters. So definitely, you know, sort of go to your local shopping centre, whether you're in Australia or the US or the UK, wherever you are, anywhere in the world, because lots of people do watch me from different countries. So go to your local shopping centre and have a look at the gloves and see what you like. But these, like I said, are definitely my suggestion, the blue ones. After that, secondly, you do need a mask. So these masks are actually really good. These just from my local hardware store. I think I got them for about $15 for a set of 2. And the great thing about these masks is that they actually protect you against vapor. So you do need ones that say, you know, vapor protection or, you know, chemical protection and so on. Don't just get one of those cheap little white ones that have no breathing apparatus or anything on it, because that's actually not going to help you at all. These fumes are very, very strong. So you really do need to wear a mask. So like I said, this is the little one I got from my cheapie store. You can get really expensive ones or cheap ones, even when you're making bath bombs, because bath bombs, everybody knows that makes bath bombs. You have a product called SLSA, and that is very airborne, very light and easy to go into your lungs. So once again, you do need to wear a mask, whether it's for bath bombs or soap. But today we're talking about the lye mixture. So these definitely go to your hardware store, ask for some advice, tell them what you're actually making, and I'm sure they'll give you some advice. They've been actually fantastic with me, and they're really interested in soap making at my local store. They ask me a lot about it, so that's really lovely. So yeah, so these 2 are definitely the main ones that you need to have for making your lye. So now that we've talked about the main protection, next we'll get to make the lye. But last but not least, also an apron. I do wear an apron, so that way if you splash anything, it's on the apron, it's not directly on your t-shirt. Because if you even splash lye on your t-shirt, you need to get it off. It will seep through the t-shirt and onto your skin, and it will give you a lye burn, which is really painful. It's like a red sort of blistering burn. I have actually had one when I first started soaping. So yeah, so make sure you do, you know, wear your equipment. And so all right, everyone, so now let's get started with the lye. So before I do anything, obviously I'm not touching anything inside them, just showing you the containers at the moment. So this is the caustic soda that I use, which is, like I said, the sodium hydroxide. Down the bottom here, it does say for soap making. You really need to make sure that this is a soap making sodium hydroxide. Some of the drain cleaners and so on have extra additives to them, so you cannot use those for soap making. So like I said, you know, do make sure it is for soap making. Ask for advice, or you can go to many places online. In Australia, most places online will not ship sodium hydroxide to us. That's why I have to get it from where I get it in these smaller containers, but I don't mind about that. And when you're storing them, make sure they are on the top shelf or locked in a cabinet. If you have young children that can get to things, please lock them away, because it is extremely dangerous. And make sure that the seals are sealed off on here, because that way they can't open and nobody's going to be able to get them undone, especially children or pets. When you're making this, you do need to make it without pets or children in the room. You can do this a day before, there's no problem at all. It depends on the method you're using, whether you're going to be using a heat transfer method or whether you're just making the lye and going to let it cool down. But for today, we'll start with just making the basic lye and letting it cool down. So that's for that. And then of course we have our distilled water. I also get this container from my local shopping centre. And at the bottom, it will explain to you here, it says no chemicals, no salts, no bacteria. So the main thing with water, if you pour water from your tap, it is actually no good to use for soap making, because in different countries they put different chemicals or different additives into the water to help people. So in Australia they actually put fluoride in our water, and that actually is meant to help with keeping your teeth more healthy. So that is what's in our tap water, so it is no good for using for soap making. And yeah, so definitely don't use that. You need distilled or pure water, as this is. So this is what we're going to be using. And these big bottles here, 5-litre bottles, I think it's roughly about $5. So it's really, really cheap, like $1 a litre. So it's not expensive at all. But yeah, so this is the one I'm going to use. So in conjunction with these two, this is what is going to create what people call lye. So yep, so lye, like I said, is a liquid form with the sodium hydroxide in it. And then when you mix all of your oils with your soap, and add these two in once they're pre-mixed, then that's what actually creates soap. Without these, you cannot have soap. And also the other thing that's really important as well to talk about is people often say to me, Do I need to cure soap? Like, surely I can just use it in a week. No, you can't. You can't use soap in a week. You do need to give it its full 4 to 6 week cure time. And that's to cure and make sure that these are not going to be stinging your clients. Because if you use the soap straight away, it would sting, because the sodium hydroxide, even once the soap looks ready, it's still doing its job of, saponification. So yeah, so you do need to understand that. So what we're going to do today right now is we will start to make a simple batch, just a tiny little batch of lye, so that you can see exactly how it's done. Also, make sure you do need to do this with your door open or a window open or near a window in a really good ventilated area. If you've got no kids or pets outside, you could definitely go outside and just make it outside, which I often do. But in my studio here, I have massive big double door metal glass doors, and I open them up totally, so then there is a lot of ventilation in here, so there's no issue. But when I'm making it, you will see the steam, and I'll talk about that as we're doing it. So let's go and make some lye. So before we even start doing the lye, of course we need to put on some gloves. So I'm going to just pop on my gloves. So now I've got my gloves on, as you can see right here. And now in front of us here on the bench, I do have my scale. So obviously we need to measure this. So anybody that's seen my other videos will know that I do give you the recipe. I also give you my lye recipe per each one. But any recipe you get online, please make sure you pop it through the soap calc, just in case I'm wrong or someone else is wrong. I mean, I'm fairly sure that all my recipes are right because I use them all the time, but you still need to just be proactive with yourself or your own business, or whether you're making it home, and just make sure you do double check. If you don't know of a soap calculator, the one I use is called soapcalc.com, and it's amazing. It's really, really good, and there's lots and lots of videos out there on how to actually use it, but honestly, it is quite simple. So now we're going to be starting here. I work in grams, of course, so I'm just going to put my mode back to grams if it wants to do it. So we will just play around and make sure it's going to do it. Anyway, we'll fix that in a minute. And of course, next I'm going to be putting on my mask. So in this next process, I'm not going to be talking. I will do a voiceover in the next little bit so that I can actually show you exactly what I'm going to be doing. But from here, we also, once we get everything ready, we will have our jug on here as well. And, our jug is what we're going to be pouring in. So to make lye, you must always start with the water, not the other way around. It's dangerous to do it the other way around. So do make sure we measure our water, and our water will be popped in first. So before I even touch the lye, I will help, and we will actually add in the water now. And then we'll go from there, adding the next bit in. So in this recipe, it is a 150 gram recipe we're going to be using. So I'm going to be adding in 41 grams of water. So we'll start with our distilled water that I said before. And all we're going to be doing, like I said, is just adding that in, and then we'll go from there. So I'll come back in a moment. We'll add the water in and the hydroxide, and we'll go from there. All right, we're back again. So I've torn out my scale. So my scale says 0 with the jug on top of it. And like I said, we are going to be adding 41 grams of distilled water in here. Now you do need to make sure your measurements are really, really right. So first starting, I would suggest that you do the lye, the hydroxide, and the water in separate jugs, because you do not want it to be wrong. Okay, so because I've actually poured a tiny bit more, I'm going to be just checking that, because we want this to get down to 41. Like I said, it does need to be right. It's really important. It's just like cooking, you really need to make sure the measurements are spot on so that you're going to get the perfect solution. All right, so that's good. So we're down to 41 on here. And so now we are going to be using, like I said, the sodium hydroxide. So I'm going to pop on my mask, and I won't be talking for this next bit, but I will, you will definitely, see me doing this. And then afterwards, after it's all finished, I'll come back and talk to you a little bit more. Okay? So we're going to be starting, of course, with our scales at the bottom because we do need everything to be measured. We've already measured our distilled water, which is in the jug, and on top of that now we're just going to be pouring in the exact amount of the sodium hydroxide. So do make sure it's exact right down to the gram. If you do it wrong, you'll have to dispose of it and start again. So it is really, really important to make sure that is the right measurements. So now all we're going to be doing is getting a silicone spatula. Don't use metal, you do need to use plastic or silicone, and it does need to be strong enough to be able to withhold the heat. Some of them are not strong enough to withhold heat, such as a plastic disposable spoon will not be good. It will bend with the heat of this. So you're just going to really carefully and really gently just mix it until all the granules are dissolved. And you'll know because it will start to go from this sort of real milky looking consistency down to a clear consistency, so or a clear look. So like you can see here, and you'll be able to tell because if you can feel granules on the bottom, you know it is not dissolved, and this does need to be totally dissolved to be able to be used. So it's as simple as that, and then we'll come back in just a moment. Alright, so I have taken my mask off. So obviously, you know, I had my mask on like so, and but obviously I've taken that off so that I can now explain to you a little bit more about the whole process of all of this. So for now, like I said, we have done it, and if you noticed the steam coming off, because lye is extremely hot, so yeah, do make sure that you know you understand, like I said, that particular side of it. But and if you can see here, you will see inside how it's clear. Can you see how that's totally clear now? And then that's when you know it's dissolved. So do not mix it and just leave it. There's tiny little granules in the bottom, and those granules do need to be totally dissolved. If you put this in your soap with granules not dissolved, you need to throw the soap out because it is actually too dangerous, and it means it has not dissolved and it's not ready to use. So anyway, hopefully my tricks and my little tips today on making lye safe have actually helped you along the way. I really do hope it does. And then you can make some beautiful soap. So even soap like these, you know, these have all been made by hand. We do a lot of these by hand, so you know you can make some really beautiful products, but just respect the process of making lye, and then you'll have a great time at doing this. So anyway, like I said, once again, you know, we are doing this in collaboration with Sud Off, so please check them out, and also I'll list them below, which I always do list them as one of my preferred suppliers. And yeah, so hopefully this has helped everyone in Australia and across the world, wherever, because we are really so grateful for everyone watching us and supporting us on this little baby Aussie channel that we're doing on here. So if you'd like to subscribe, please do, and pop on the notifications so that you know you see all of our videos. And by subscribing, it does actually help our channel to grow, and it also helps us to get the hours, because that's what YouTube runs off, seeing how many people are watching and what you think of our videos. Please comment if you'd like. We always love to see comments, and I do answer personally every single one back myself. I do not have anyone answering for me. So you will be talking to me each time, and I really do care and hope that I can help you make soap, like I said, in a healthy and safe environment. Have an amazing day, everyone, and thank you for watching, and you'll see me soon. Bye for now.